Halo Pak Andreas, Bu Ayu, dan teman-teman. Halo Afif.
Halo Kak,
Hello, good afternoon.
Halo, Pak.
Are you ready to be two person?
Ready.
Ya, suara nggak keluar.
ya, ini video korekanya nggak ada suaranya nih, Mas Andreas.
Include sound nggak, Andreas?
Ini yang play siapa ya? Bentar saya cek.
Platform.
Dia di Zoom-nya masih audionya. Oke, aman.
Include sound nggak,
and
Andreas?
ensuring the democratization
Udah aman.
of
Ini
AI
yang play
benefits.
siapa ya? Bentar
Eureka
saya cek.
operates
Platform.
based on 7
Dia di
main
Zoom-nya masih
principles.
audionya.
These are inclusive collaboration, professionalism, transparency, adaptability, independence, healthy competition, and Indonesia's excellence based on value
Oke,
creation.
aman.
While
Include
democratizing
sound
AI
nggak,
and
Andreas?
ensuring the democratization
Aman.
of
Ini
AI
yang play
benefits.
siapa ya?
Eureka
Saya cek.
operates based on 7
Dia di
main
Zoom-nya masih audionya.
principles and benefits. Inclusive collaboration, professionalism, transparency, adaptability, independence, healthy competition, making sure Indonesia's excellence based on value creation, while
Include
democratizing
sound
AI
nggak,
and
Andreas?
ensuring the democratization
Aman.
of
Ini yang
AI
play siapa ya?
benefits.
Saya cek.
Operates based on
Dia di Zoom-nya masih audionya.
inclusive collaboration, professionalism, transparency, adaptability, independence, healthy competition, ensure Indonesia's excellence based on value creation, while democratizing AI and ensuring the democratization of
Ini yang play siapa ya? Saya cek.
operates based on
Dia di Zoom-nya masih audionya.
inclusive collaboration, professionalism, transparency, adaptability, independence, healthy competition, ensure Indonesia's excellence based on value creation, while democratizing AI and ensuring the democratization of AI
Play siapa ya? Saya cek.
operates based on
Dia di Zoom-nya masih audionya.
Indonesia's excellence in research and industrial innovation in artificial intelligence. From us, for us, by Korika, while democratizing AI opportunities for all.
Oke, tes. Pak Lukman, kita di mute ya dulu ya. Oke. Oke. Alright. Good afternoon, everyone. It's 4 p.m. Thank you
Yes,
for
good
coming and
afternoon.
joining in our.
Record. Hope you can record. Can you make record? Oski. Okay, record. Okay, qualify is record.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first Project Air webinar of Indonesia's with Project Bina. Right now, we are also hosting with a great partner, GoTo Group. So we're here on behalf of Ophir. Currently, he's as a position of Chief Data Officer of GoTo Group. So Ophir has been quite pioneering in creating the LLM for Indonesia's first nation grand scale of LLM, which is Sahabat AI. And on behalf of you, it will be moderated by Prof. Ayu Purwarianti. So she will be replacing Dr. Only because Dr. Only right now has another um, issue right now. And our opening remarks will be by Prof. Ashril Jarin. So he will be replacing Prof. Hamam Riza. So Prof. Ashril, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Andreas. Good afternoon. Allow me to open this event in Bahasa Indonesia, right? For ice breaking, I want to read pantun. Bangun negeri dengan cerdasnya AI, LLM
Cakep,
hadir mengubah cerita.
cakep,
Bahasa kita beragam dan kaya, saatnya bangun model LLM Indonesia.
cakep.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat sore dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. The Honorable Mr. Ofir Saleh, our distinguished speaker today, Chief Officer from Good to Group. Thank you for your willingness to be our speaker today. Your sharing will be very valuable for expanding our knowledge and insights regarding large language model. Yang saya hormati Ibu Ayu Purwarianti, Kepala Pusat AI ITB, sekaligus juga ini Wakil Ketua Umum Korika di bidang talenta, yang hari ini bertindak sebagai moderator acara dan diskusi kita. Terima kasih Bu Ayu atas kesediaannya. Bapak Ibu peserta webinar yang kami hormati, welcome to the webinar. Saya Asril Jarin, tahun ini diamanahi sebagai Wakil Ketua Umum Korika bidang inovasi data dan infrastruktur. Pada kesempatan ini saya perlu menyampaikan bahwa Ketua Umum Korika, Profesor Hamam Riza, yang sedianya akan membuka acara kita hari ini, mungkin beliau akan terlambat bergabung karena beliau masih dalam perjalanan pulang dari luar negeri. Bapak Ibu, mewakili Prof. Hamam, saya merasa terhormat untuk membuka acara kita ini, yaitu webinar yang diselenggarakan oleh Korika bersama dengan Project Bina. Webinar ini mengangkat topik Sovereign AI Building LLM for Indonesia. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, para peserta webinar yang hadir, hari ini kita akan mendapatkan sharing pengetahuan dari narasumber tentang kenapa Indonesia perlu LLM sendiri dan bagaimana cara membangunnya. Kita memahami bahwa Indonesia merupakan ekosistem linguistik yang besar, mungkin terbesar di dunia. Ada lebih dari 700 bahasa daerah dan sekitar 270 jutaan penduduk. Ini tentu memberi potensi yang luar biasa bagi Indonesia dalam membangun LLM sendiri. Saya rasa topik webinar kita hari ini sangat menarik untuk disimak dan didiskusikan, apalagi dengan hadirnya DeepSeek R1 yang fenomenal baru-baru ini. Mestinya kita jadi termotivasi untuk membangun kekuatan LLM sendiri, buatan Indonesia. Saya yakin webinar ini akan dapat memberikan pengetahuan dan wawasan baru buat kita, yang akan nanti mendorong peluang kolaborasi sesama kita dan membangun ekosistem pengembangan LLM Indonesia atau LLM Merah Putih. Sebagaimana inisiatif yang sudah dilakukan oleh Project Bina dan juga oleh GoTo yang sudah memulai dengan sahabat AI. Tanpa panjang lebar, mari kita mulai sesi ini. Sesi akan dibawakan oleh pembicara kita dalam bahasa Inggris ya, Mas Andreas. Selanjutnya,
Yes.
saya serahkan kepada Ibu Ayu Purwarianti untuk menjalankan sesi dan diskusi hari ini. Terima kasih. Thank you for joining us today. Wishing you a productive and engaging webinar experience. Enjoy the webinar. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Pak Asril. So, thank you all. So today we're going to listen to the great experience of GoTo team. Ophir is already here with all the team, I think. We have Hendra, Icha, and also Daniel. So I don't have any more other thing to talk about. I just will give the Zoom to Ophir and the team. Okay, please, Ophir.
Thank you very much, Professor Ayu and the team. Let me just maybe share my screen. And before I start, I just want to thank everyone for inviting me to this distinguished seminar. And GoTo and myself, we are working a lot in Indonesia. This is our main market. And I'm really excited to be part of this community that discuss AI, innovation, data science, NLP, and really being part of the bigger group, because no one can do this alone. And I feel that the partnership, the working together, is very important for us to succeed on what we are trying to do. So again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. As we said, we have my colleagues as well, Hendra, Icha, and Daniel, that will describe in more details what we are doing in Indonesia and the work that we are doing on Sahabat AI. With your permission, I would like to start with a short video that summarizes the AI Day, Indonesia AI Day that we had last year. It's a short video. Don't worry, it's not going to take too long. I will play it and then we can move to the next slides.
We wish you a very good morning and also welcome to
Indonesia AI Day 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President live from Cairo.
It is not crazy at all. It is absolutely essential that Indonesia build your own AI.
The purpose of it is to make life simple. How to make a day in a life of GoTo user more easier, more convenient. Kira order lokal ke kantor. There you go. With one click, you will be able.
Yes. So that's a summary of a day, but there was a lot of work that was done, a lot of technical work that was done before we could make it happen. And today I want to help you understand to the details of what we did, what the Indonesian team did, what we did with partners. And I will move to the next slide and I will try to describe what we are trying to do. So Sahabat AI for us is open source. We are not charging for the model. Anyone can download it from Hugging Face. And it's very important for us to release this as an open source because if we want to help to drive innovation in Indonesia, it's very hard for universities or to partners to spend a lot of money on pre-training LLMs. It's a lot of GPUs, and we would like to try to help the ecosystem and to do the work, and then anyone else can download the model from Hugging Face. If you know how to do fine-tune, you can do fine-tuning yourself, and then use it without the need to spend a lot of money and GPU resources on building everything from scratch. Now, as I said before, it's very hard to develop or to build this by ourselves. And this is the reason that we are partnering with a lot of entities, a lot of companies that believe that in our goal of open sourcing and allowing people to have access to compute, to LLM in a way that do not requires a big investment. So partnering with universities, partnering with tax experts. Some of them are not in Indonesia. Some of them are in Singapore. We are partnering with government agency. We are partnering with NVIDIA. And the way that we see it is that we are looking for partners that can bring value to the ecosystem. So if there is an expert in DeepMind, I just came back from Bangalore, an expert from Google that can help us to build a better model, and this expert is happen to sit in Bangalore, I will be more than happy to include them in the partnership model because then we can develop even a better model. But obviously, a lot of the tasks, since we are training the model in Bahasa, Javanese, and Sundanese, will be done by our Indonesian colleagues. And this is really the partnership that we want to adopt. And if I may call to the community in this opportunity, if you wish to partner with us and to help us to build even a better model, we would love to discuss these opportunities with more partners. So, as I said, let's discuss now how did we build the model. And when you build a model, open source model, there are basically three phases that are important. The first one is a pre-training, which means that you take the basic model. In our case, we are doing something which is called continuous pre-training, which means that instead of training Gemma or Llama from scratch, which will probably cost 100 million US dollars, we take currently the checkpoint that Gemma and Llama released as open source, and we continue, we call it CPT, continuous pre-training, with Bahasa, Javanese, Sundanese, and in the future, additional dialect tokens to localize the culture of the model to Indonesia. This is the pre-training phase. After this, we are doing the fine-tuning, which is basically transforming the model from a base model to instruct model, which is a better fit into things that relates to chat and so on. And obviously, eventually, we need to evaluate the performance of the model. And we are working and we've, sorry? Okay, sorry, there was a bit of a noise. And we are evaluating the performance of the model on certain benchmarks. And over the next few slides, I will hand over to my colleagues based out of Jakarta. And they will describe in Bahasa, Indonesia, the work that they've done to develop this model. So, Hendra, over to you, please.
Oke, thank you, Ovir. Jadi di sini saya akan jelaskan dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Jadi sebelumnya perkenalkan nama saya Hendra. Saya adalah data scientist lead di Gojek sudah 5 tahun di sini. Dan saya ini saat ini bertanggung jawab untuk mengoptimisasi promo untuk customer GoFood gitu ya. Dan selain itu saya juga salah satu developer untuk sahabat AI. Dan kebetulan juga saya orang Jawa, jadi saya salah satu yang memastikan bahwa dataset yang kita pakai dalam bahasa Jawa itu relevan dan berkualitas. Juga modelnya itu memahami bahasa Jawa dengan baik gitu ya. Jadi di sini saya akan menjelaskan tahap pertama yaitu CPT ya, Continuous Pre-Training. Bisa ke next slide. Jadi di proses pre-training ini kan kita mulai dari suatu base model yaitu Llama dan Gemma gitu ya. Selanjutnya kita melakukan 3 tahap ini yaitu data collections, data cleaning, dan model training. Yang pertama adalah data collections. Di sini kita mengumpulkan berbagai datasets. Sumber data utamanya itu dari Common Crawl. Jadi di sini kita mengumpulkan berbagai website, artikel, dan dokumen gitu ya. Dan terkumpul sebanyak 1.200 GB, yaitu sekitar 400.000 buku yang akan dipelajari oleh model ini, digunakan untuk mentraining model ini sehingga modelnya bisa memahami struktur bahasa dengan baik dan memahami berbagai knowledge yang dasar gitu ya, pemahaman dasar. Dan ujungnya nanti akan menjadi base model yang bisa dipakai untuk berbagai kebutuhan gitu. Setelah kita mendapatkan data ini, kita fokus ke data dalam bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia, bahasa Jawa, dan bahasa Sunda. Dan untuk bahasa seperti bahasa Sunda dan bahasa Jawa, kita ambil sampel datanya dan kita akses, kita analisis untuk memastikan bahwa datanya berkualitas gitu ya. Kita tidak mau ada data yang tidak natural atau hasil translatean yang kurang bagus dan sebagainya gitu ya. Dan setelah mendapatkan data yang bersih ini, kita ke inti aktivitasnya yaitu model training. Di sini kita menggunakan strategi stratified batching, yaitu kita melakukan beberapa batch dalam proses training untuk mencegah catastrophe forgetting. Jadi kita tidak mau modelnya ini belajar sesuatu yang baru, tetapi melakukan pemahaman yang sudah didapatkan sebelumnya gitu ya. Dan dari proses ini kita mendapatkan 50 miliar tokens dalam bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia, bahasa Sunda, dan bahasa Jawa. Dan proses trainingnya kita menggunakan Compute H1000 CPU yang salah satu yang powerful. Dan kalau menggunakan komputer biasa mungkin proses trainingnya bisa berbulan-bulan. Tetapi dengan mesin ini itu proses training yang kita lakukan itu hanya dalam 10 hari. Dan akhirnya kita mendapatkan base model dalam sahabat AI yang sudah hasilnya bagus gitu ya. Dan tahap selanjutnya adalah fine tuning yang akan dijelaskan oleh rekan saya Daniel, silakan.
Halo, selamat siang. Kenalkan aku Daniel. Aku sudah di eh, bagian dari Ristim GoTo selama 2 tahun. Em, dan saya salah satu developer sahabat AI yang impact dalam proses fine tuning. Oh, oke. Em, Jadi ada 3 tahapan utama dalam proses fine tuning yaitu instruction generation, instruction augmentation, dan juga instruction selection. Tapi mungkin kita akan ke hal yang lebih fundamental dulu. Proses fine tuning merupakan suatu proses di mana kita ingin membuat LLM ini bagus dalam salah satu tugas spesifik. Yang dalam kasus ini adalah chatbot spesifik. Bisa diumpamakan seperti kita belajar bank-bank soal sebelum ujian nasional. Em, Tahap pertama dari uh, tahap pertama itu dari fine tuning merupakan menghasilkan dataset fine tuning. Dataset fine tuning itu seperti apa? Itu seperti yang ada di slide ini yaitu uh, merupakan bentuknya prompt dan answer. Promptnya seperti apa itu ibu kota Indonesia dan answernya yaitu Jakarta. Ini kita menghasilkan data fine tune ini menggunakan model yang lebih besar, yaitu mode Gemma, dan kita untuk menghasilkan prompt dari uh, berbagai area, misalkan dari matematika sampai pengertian bahasa dan kultural juga. Setelah itu kita melakukan instruction augmentation, yaitu proses di mana kita mengubah instruksinya sedikit untuk menambahkan variasi. Misalkan kita nggak cuma bertanya apa itu ibu kota Indonesia, tapi kita parafrase. Bisakah Anda memberitahu saya apa itu ibu kota Indonesia? Sehingga LLM ini dapat mengerti pertanyaan dari lebih dan juga kita menambahkan data-data dari translasi dari bahasa misalkan dari bahasa Inggris ke bahasa Indonesia. Nah, di tahapan yang ketiga untuk itu adalah tahapan di mana kita membersihkan dataset tersebut. Ini dilakukan dengan cara menghilangkan barangkali ada data-data yang duplikat dan selain itu juga kita memberikan tagging domain terhadap prompt tersebut. Karena kita ingin membuat chatbot yang dapat menjawab dari berbagai topik, nggak cuman misalnya ahli dalam menjawab pertanyaan matematika, tapi juga dari pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang lebih misalnya science ataupun kultural misalnya uh, di mana lokasi Candi Borobudur seperti itu. Sudah itu kita sudah berhasil menciptakan dataset tersebut dan kita akan menggunakan dataset ini untuk melatih model agar menjadi chatbot general yang baik. Um, dan proses ini telah selesai. Setelah itu kita mendapatkan model yang telah terlatih sebagai model chatbot. Dan setelah itu kita akan melanjutkan ke tahap berikutnya yaitu tahap evaluation yang akan disampaikan oleh rekan saya Ica.
Eh, Baik, selamat sore semuanya. Saya Ica, data scientist di GoPay selama 2 tahun terakhir. Saya juga bagian dari tim pengembangan sahabat AI. Sekarang saya akan menjelaskan tentang bagian ketiga dari proses pengembangan sahabat AI, yaitu evaluation. Jadi tujuan dari evaluation ini adalah untuk memahami performa dari model yang sudah kita bangun. Prosesnya seperti ujian di sekolah. Jadi modelnya akan diberikan sekumpulan pertanyaan yang perlu dijawab, lalu kemudian jawabannya ini akan dinilai. Nah, pertanyaan-pertanyaannya ini perlu mencakup topik dan kompetensi yang luas dan variatif. Sebagai contoh, misalkan di slide kita bisa melihat ada 3 pertanyaan. Di pertanyaan pertama, kita memberikan sebuah kalimat ke model dan kita minta model tersebut untuk menentukan sentimen dari kalimat tersebut, apakah positif, negatif, atau netral. Lalu di pertanyaan yang kedua, kita kasih kalimat lagi, tetapi kali ini kita minta modelnya untuk memilih antara opsi A dan B, mana yang artinya sama dengan kalimat di soal. Tujuannya untuk mengetahui apakah modelnya ini mengerti metafor dalam bahasa Jawa atau tidak. Lalu di pertanyaan yang ketiga, kita minta model untuk menerjemahkan kalimat dari bahasa Indonesia ke bahasa Sunda. Jadi ketiganya mengevaluasi model di kompetensi yang berbeda-beda. Lalu skornya bagaimana? Misalkan dari ketiga pertanyaan ini, modelnya hanya bisa jawab 2 secara benar. Berarti skor finalnya adalah 2/3 atau 66%. Next slide, please. Secara umum, ada 3 komponen yang kita gunakan untuk evaluasi, yaitu si Helm, Indo MMLU, dan OpenLLM Benchmark. Jadi untuk si Helm, yang dievaluasi adalah pengetahuan pemahaman bahasa secara mendasar dalam bahasa Indonesia, Jawa, dan Sunda. Jadi kompetensi yang diuji ada analisis sentimen, translasi, peringkasan, dan sebagainya. Kemudian untuk Indo MMLU ini adalah evaluasi pengetahuan umum. Jadi ada matematika, ilmu sains, sosial, dan sebagainya. Pertanyaannya ini dikumpulkan dari soal-soal ujian sekolah. Kemudian yang terakhir adalah evaluasi untuk bahasa Inggris. Jadi memang sahabat AI ini fokus ke bahasa Indonesia, tetapi kita juga perlu mengetahui seberapa mendalam pengetahuan sahabat AI dalam bahasa Inggris. Untuk benchmarknya sendiri, kita mengikuti Open LLM Leaderboard yang ada di Hugging Face. Jadi ketiga komponen ini kita pakai untuk evaluasi model. Lalu bisa kita lihat di tabel berikut bahwa sahabat AI ini memiliki nilai yang lebih baik dibandingkan dengan beberapa open source LLM lain yang berukuran sama, khusus untuk bahasa Indonesia, Jawa, dan Sunda. Mungkin sebagai tambahan, evaluasi ini dilakukan tidak hanya untuk membandingkan sahabat AI dengan open source LLM yang sudah ada, tetapi juga untuk dalam pengembangan sahabat AI itu sendiri. Jadi di dalam fine tuning ada beberapa parameter yang ditentukan melalui eksperimen, sehingga kita butuh melakukan evaluasi untuk melihat mana versi model yang memiliki performa terbaik. I think that's all for evaluation. I will hand it back to Ophir.
Thank you very much, Icha, Daniel, and Hendra. And maybe I'll move to the next slide. So, like always, when you open source, you want to share as much data as you can about what you did, what we did. So I encourage you to look into our Hugging Face page. We really included a lot of details about what is a pre-training, which model we started with, how we have done the things. So if you are interested to learn more, it's open. You can just read about this, and more than happy to get your feedback on how we can do things even better. So obviously it's important to develop the model, but then the question is that how we can use it in real life. So like Professor Ayu in ITB can download the model and to teach students based on this. We can do as well in GoTo, use the same model in order to help us to build AI-driven systems. So I just want to give you 2 examples of systems that we have integrated Sahabat AI with, and to explain to you what is the workflow that we have followed. First of all, I just want to sort of a small celebration of how many downloads we had since we launched the model last year. 20,000 people, organization downloaded Sahabat AI. I do not know exactly what they do with this, which is awesome. I do not need to do it. But if one of you is keen to share, if they are using Sahabat AI, what use case is it solving for you? Or even what are the challenges? I will be more than happy to learn and we can improve on the next iteration. We are not planning to stop at version 1. If you look into Llama version 1, now we have version 3 already. So your feedback is really important for us to tell us what is working well, and even more important to us, what we can do better to improve the performance of the model. But thank you so far for the 20,000 downloads. We really appreciate your support. So here is one case that it's very important for us in GoTo, which is Know Your Customer, KYC. So in KYC, it's very important for us to give a very good experience to the good users that want to go through the process and to unlock things like P2P. You cannot do P2P in Indonesia by the regulator without doing KYC. And we want to make sure that people that want to transfer money to family members and so on can do it as fast as possible. So we've implemented a lot of AI into our KYC process, especially the part when you scan your eKTP and we extract automatically your NIC, your DOB, your POB, place of birth. And instead of you typing all of the details into the KYC screen on your mobile, we try to help you and to extract the data for you. And for these cases, we are, especially for the more complicated documents, we are using today Sahabat AI to help us extract the data from the OCR page and to help us to increase the accuracy of the data extraction. Another example where we use Sahabat AI is Dira. Dira is our voice assistant.
Transfer saldo GoPay ke Raja Novitasari 26.700.
So basically, we envision a world where a lot of the commands and the activities on the future applications will be given using voice, especially if you are busy, if you are driving, and so on and so forth, where Dira is our project that allows us to include voice activation in our products. We are planning to roll out Dira to additional users over time, while we are basically working on adding new features to Dira. So the process is that you start by saying something in Bahasa Indonesia, and then Sahabat AI is helping us to translate the text into intent. We call it intent classification. We have tested other commercial engines in the past, but when you build a real-time speech engine, things like latency, how much time does it take the command to go to a server in the US and coming back to us, are becoming very important. It's not anymore a demo, it's becoming a production system. And we found that by hosting our own version of Sahabat AI on our servers in Indonesia, the latency is much shorter, much smaller, because the data is going to our servers in Indonesia and doesn't need to go to other places. From data privacy perspective, everything is within our system. And the cost, any business cares about cost. Obviously, the cost of running a local LLM on your own infrastructure is much lower than paying per token to other companies. Now, it doesn't mean that we are saying use Sahabat AI for everything. if you have a good use case that a commercial engine is solving for you and latency is not a big issue, by all means, you can go and use other tools as well. But we believe that there are use cases where you can run a smaller model on your infrastructure with the benefits that we listed here. So just to be clear, the idea is not Sahabat AI will solve all of the AI problem of your organization. We are not doing the same in GoTo as well. It's not realistic. In some cases, you need a commercial engine. In some cases, you can use a 9 billion parameter model. And in some cases, you can use a 1.5 billion parameter model. But we as AI practitioners can have a choice. We can have a toolbox, and we can decide for these use cases, I want to call OpenAI, for example, because I need reasoning and I need very complicated chain of thoughts and so on. But for other models, like intent classifications, or for sentiment analysis, or for other things like this, I prefer to use a local version, which is running on my laptop even. Okay, so in a way, we provide sort of a democracy and the free choice for our engineers and users to pick up which model works better for them. Okay, so this is sort of our strategy around that. So I can speak a lot about this, but I just want to leave enough time to Professor Ayu and the audience to ask questions. Like I said, it's the first version, so your feedback is very valuable to us. So this is the email address. If you can share with us, your stories, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. We are reading every email, and we promise to this. I see that Professor Hamam is asking a question. He's raising his hand.
Yeah,
Yes, please,
there's
Professor.
pengalaman.
Yeah.
Halo Pak Amam.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ya
Yes,
Pak, aman
Professor.
Pak.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ayu, for moderating this session. Hi, Ophir. Really glad to finally have you here. I am off camera at this time because I'm mobilizing. Okay, so I just need to say a few words. First of all, thank you for everyone joining this event. It is much awaited event because after we witnessed the launch of Sahabat AI about a month ago, yeah, and I think it's really incredible journey that Goto is now picking up the large language model Bahasa Indonesia as part of their AI adoption. So, listening to you, Ophir, and also to all the team members, I think I see really young data scientists, data engineer, which is really great. I'm really happy. That means something for AI ecosystem in Indonesia, and I'm really grateful for that. So I have a few things, Bu Ayu, Prof. Ayu, if it is possible, and also Pak Asril as the Vice Wakil Ketua of Inovasi. I have one thing that have been lingering in my mind since I see the launch of Sahabat AI. First, just like what you said just now about this democratization of AI. I think that's the tagline as well for ICA. So, what do you think about this open source release of Bahasa Indonesia that can probably give or democratize access to the AI tools in Indonesia, especially for the small, medium businesses, for education sector, or even for just local communities. What do you see the most challenging whether is it literacy or is it the infrastructure gaps? Is this something that you've been considering when we talk about equitable adoption of AI for the general public? I think this is very important, and I just returned from the AI Action Summit where we talk about the AI for the public interest. So I think that's something that I want to hear from you, Ophir. And another one that probably looking at the impact of open source LLM bahasa Indonesia, I think it is the linguistic preservation. I think this is a way of us for to have an open source bahasa Indonesia that can preserve regional language. I saw that you have Javanese as well inside of your work, and this call for linguistic diversity. I think Ibu Ayu is very much on the spot, yeah, to work on this linguistic preservations and to have something like uh, a way, okay, to uh, build a LLM inclusive of the diversity. That's the two things that I have that I want to pose to you, Ophir. And again, thank you.
Yes. Yes, so thank you very much, Professor. These are very important and thoughtful questions. And I hope that you had a good session in Paris. I heard a lot of good things about the summit there.
Yes.
So, so what are the barriers that we see, right? So I think one of the first barriers that we saw was that a lot of the models were very good models, but they were trained in the US. And the cultural values and everything, like my colleagues, like Hendra and Icha and Daniel presented, they are not the same exactly like the US. There is the national view, and there are certain things that are different in Indonesia compared to London or New York and so on. And I feel that we are trying with the help of all of these partners, as I said, it cannot be only to close this gap by releasing the open source model. So we hope that this will help to focus only on the fine tuning instead of spending a lot of money on the entire CPT and the labeling of the data and the collection of the data and the processing of PDF to tokens, which takes a lot of time. So one gap that we see is that having a local model, and we are trying to help. By the way, there are other very good models. I'm not saying that Sahabat AI is the only one. I feel that the more models, the more community that we'll have, it will be better for everyone. So you can basically pick and choose the one that you want the most. So when I'm talking about this, I'm not just talking about GoTo. I'm trying to cover the ecosystem, the Indonesian ecosystem here. Yeah. So I think one gap is the model itself, and I hope that we are helping a bit with this. I think the second part is the knowledge. Is okay, you have a model on Hugging Face. How do you download this model? How do you use the Hugging Face library? How do you do the prompt pre-train and use the model to predict the next token? And I feel that this is something that universities and academy and schools, and this is why I was so excited about the collaboration with, for example, Professor Ayu, when students are coming and working with us together on building the model. So one of the things that I'm most happy about this building the model is that my colleague in Indonesia are learning about how to build LLM. And when they are learning about how to build LLM, they can pass the knowledge to the next generation. And we're creating this flywheel that it's not only, between us, I could easily train the model in the US, to give a US company the data and to bring the train model here and to put it on Hugging Face. But then we are missing the part, back to your question, Professor Hammam, that how do we pass the knowledge as well of how to do the
Yes.
pre-training, how to do the fine-tuning, how to do a
Right.
benchmark in Japanese. Yeah? Yeah.
Very
Make
good.
sense?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah. Anything to add, Professor Ayu? Because probably you are facing, you need to solve this problem to help to solve this problem as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Pak.
Professor Ayu already have the solution. Yes.
Thank you,
Okay.
Pak Amam. Thank you, Ophir.
Yeah.
So, there's also like related with the AI democratization. I think it is a very good thing that go to support this open source LLM, even though someone said it's an open weight, not open source.
Correct.
Yeah. But I think it's a good start, and also there are many people, Indonesian researchers and also industry, trying to share any kind of source code. So, for example, here there's Dr. Dewanto in the chat. He provided this article about using Olama to call any kind of LLM with GGUF. So I think it's like a lot of people are very interested in this LLM, and like in your PowerPoint you said there are so many strength if we use LLM in our server on premise, right? Compared to using the API. Yeah. So there is a question here about the web chatbot service to try LLM Sahabat AI without having to download. I think before in the first day of AI day,
Yeah.
we can access right the website, but I think it's already shut down. Can you explain about it?
Okay. So I think just to share a bit about the website, and I think there are basically this project started with multiple partners in the past. And I think the way that we operated is that at a certain point, the current team that is building Sahabat AI was basically leading this project. But I think I need to check with my team. But apparently there was sort of a confusion with another website that was a partner website that downloaded or shared certain data points that were sort of obsolete at the time that we released Sahabat AI. So the current source of information for everything that relates to Sahabat AI is the Hugging Face page. Yes, just to avoid confusion, because I heard that there were some questions about a chat that was hosted on another website, and this is not the Sahabat AI that you see right now on the Hugging Face. It's a different version that I believe I need to check the details, but I think it was developed by another partner, which is not GoTo in the ecosystem. So let me check. I need to get back to you, but apologies for the confusion of the transition between the two things. But GoTo never released Sahabat AI so far, the version that Icha, Daniel, and so on described to you as a chatbot. Yeah. So I hope it's clarified a bit of the confusion that happened. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There's another questions about complete documentation. I think it's about the technical documentation. I know that you already posted in the Hugging Face, and there was information in the Hugging Face, but I think people wants to know if there is like the complete technical documentation.
It's a great question, Professor Ayu, and I think that the way that we see the current process is that we have internal priorities that we try to meet, and the first priority for us was to release the model. Yeah. Now there are a lot of things which are not perfect. Yeah, we do not have the full. If you look into DeepSeek, for example, DeepSeek released a very detailed documentation over 4 papers, not just one. If you look into deep math and V3 and so on, but DeepSeek got 150 engineers, according to rumors, which are working on the models and they have time to write the papers. So what I'm trying to say is that there is sort of a caveat when you build open source model. And one point is saying, let's wait until everything is perfect and ready and release the model. And this can take another 6 months to complete everything. And then it might be that by the time that we release the model, there is a new MOE architecture or a new pre-training, and then the model is obsolete. Yeah. The other approach is saying, listen, we know it's not perfect. Yeah. I do not have the Google budget. I do not have the Microsoft budget. So we'll release the model and we'll get your feedback. And we try to understand what is more important to you. If hosting the model on Olama, or I saw one of the questions on the chat, is the most important for you, we can prioritize this and to pick up the next item and maybe release version 1.1, like Llama is doing 3.1, 3.2, with Olama for support out of the box. So what I'm trying to say, to try to complete everything within the means of the open source community, probably will not be able to do everything perfectly, but we definitely have a plan to write a technical paper that can share much more details about what we do. And even if you look into the Hugging Face page, a lot of details are already there. We shared about how much compute are we using. We shared about which platform are we using in order to train the models. We actually shared that AI Singapore is one of our partners. So we try to share as open as we can. We have nothing to hide. We are saying we are not perfect, but help us to improve. That's our call for action. Yeah.
Understand.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
150 engineers in DeepSeek. I'm wondering about the data because you said that about I don't remember 400 books or something for the continual post training and also a lot of fine tuning data. Do you also open the data set?
Professor Ayu, these are great questions. I think like you read my notes in a way. I'm feeling like maybe you're reading my notes. So this is the way that we work with partners, right? And we took an approach early days that we are going to ask the consent of the partners to give us data. Yeah. So there are two ways to collect data. One is to put a crawler and to go and mine data. And the other approach is to sit with our partners. Let me give you an example. Compass is one of our partners. And to speak to them and to sign an agreement that says they can contribute to the open source, but they are giving us the right to use the data only in the context of LLM, for example. Now, we can go and ask our partners, are you okay to share the data with everyone? But the point is that we cannot decide for the partners, Professor Ayo, because if they gave us the data for a certain great reason and they were very supportive of our goals, we cannot take a one-sided approach and to say, after you give me the data, let me publish it. So every publish like this need to be done with the consent of the data owner for cases that the data is not already open source, like web crawl and so on. So the answer is that we are going to ask our partners whether they are willing to do it. But from the other side, we are going to respect their decision because we feel that even by contributing the data to this project, it's a huge enough and we are very thankful for them. And if they are willing to open source the data as well, we will be more than happy to open source it as well. But my only point is that we cannot take this decision just by our side. We need to get the consent from the partners.
Understand.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We have another questions. Oh yeah, don't call me professor. Just call me Ayu. Okay.
Okay, Professor Ayu.
I think Andreas has a question is about bias mitigation and ethical consideration in open source AI environment. Actually, this is also related with I think when you said about the cultural value, right? You said before. I wonder whether you already investigate that Lama Gema has a problem with this cultural value for the Indonesian, and then how is your Sahabat AI solve that?
So it's a great question, Andreas. It's a really great question. And I think the way that we are addressing it is yes, we saw that there are some issues. When you ask certain questions, we get answers that are not necessarily 100% aligned with the answer that most Indonesian will answer in Indonesia. In some cases, I think the global players are doing amazing job by having this awareness and to try to fix it over time. But it's much harder to do it when you need to cover 120 languages. It's a very hard job to cater for 120 languages. So I feel that given our focus on Bahasa Indonesia and dialect, we can focus as a community. Now, I think it's very important for us not to decide what is right or wrong. Yeah, I think we are not in a position in GoTo or in ITB or in other places to decide what is right or wrong. All we can do is feed the most relevant data to the model and to make sure that there is a higher probability of reading recent data and up-to-date data from news media and so on as part of the training process. But like any other usage of open source or even closed source model, there is the responsibility of the application developer to make sure that the system is aligned with the vertical use case that the application developer is driving. And I will give you an example from the software engineering world, right? Let's say that you have an open source database. Let's call it MySQL or Postgre. Yeah. No one will just put a web front in front of a database and will hope for the best, because then someone will come and do something which we call SQL injection. It can hijack the things, and Andreas is laughing. It can hijack the things very easily. So by the fact that you have the open source database, you as the application developer, this is our philosophy of trust and safety. You still need to put the controls. And I can announce here that we are developing now a comprehensive guide inspired by companies like Meta and Google that give this kind of recommendations of how to develop responsible AI. Yeah. In a way, you cannot just assume that delegate all of these responsibilities to the models. Yeah. You need to put some layers of controls, and there are ways and best practices to do it. And we are planning to help as well to the community and to release something in the next quarter. Okay? So what I'm trying to say, we can do the best that we can in the context of building the layers of understanding of the local dialects and test it on toxicity and so on. But eventually, when you take the model and you build your vertical application, you need to make sure as well that you are doing the pre-filtering and the additional work, and not just let the hallucination that is happening with any model dictate the performance of your model. Okay, makes sense, Professor Ayu and Andreas?
Yeah. That's what the
Okay,
use case also. Okay,
correct.
actually it's about 4 minutes more. I will select one question here. It's
Yes, please.
question from Rio about LLMH. Is it that do you see potential benefits in integrating them into the edge network or providers such as Indosat or Telkomsel? Do you think there will be strong use cases for this in the near future?
Yes, I think it's a great question. So I think there are two trends today in the world of LLMs. One trend is to build bigger and more capable models. Like even if you look into DeepSeek, there are more than 600 million parameters in the MOE architectures that only 70 plus, 60 plus are active at a given time. But it's still a huge model, right? You need like 16 H100 GPUs or 8 H200 GPUs just to run it locally, correct? So, but there is another trend, back to my point before, that not every problem statement need to have these huge reasoning models. And I definitely see a universe where you have much smaller models, 1.5 billion parameter, even 1 billion parameter, that you can quantize, even 8-bit or 4 bits, and to run them on local compute, which is closer to the world that you want to serve it. And this is where the infrastructure, IOH, Lintasarta, and all of these providers that have access to GPU can create an ecosystem where the compute is close to the edge and latency and other things similar like this can be much better compared to someone calling a model which is based out of Europe or the US. Now, again, just to be clear, the 1 billion parameter model will never be as strong as OpenAI. Yeah, it's not. It can never be the case. But maybe for a specific use case, it can be good enough for us to run locally, and we have good enough performance that do not require expensive solution that sends the data across borders outside of Indonesia. Yeah. Does it
Okay.
answer the question?
Yeah. I saw it's
Okay.
about the size.
Yeah.
I have one last question actually, yeah, because the time is about your next plan on Sahabat AI.
Wow. Okay. Where should I start? So I think the plan we have multiple things that we are considering right now. One of the things that we are looking right now is that we read carefully the technical report about DeepSeek. And there are a lot of exciting things that were done and were shared in an open source way. So one of the things that we are looking right now is distillation of models as a way to improve and to double click on the capabilities of the model to reason with the COT, with the chain of thoughts and the way that we build. Another thing that we are looking into right now is the multimodality, right? Sahabat 8, 9, and 8 and 9 billion parameters we release based on the premise of text to text. And I think there are today exciting models or exciting architectures like clip architecture and so on that allows you to introduce images and voice and create sort of a multimodality model. So these are things that we are looking as well into exploring. And another opportunity for us is to build even a bigger model that can cater for use cases that the 8 billion and 9 billion models cannot cover today. So in the future, we see a world where we will have multiple Sahabat AI flavors, one of them for images, one of them for text and images for annotation, another one for voice, and an Indonesian entrepreneur or a student in your class, Professor Ayu, can download the model to build the next project on top of it, and then to build it locally. As I said in the beginning, this is our initial plan, but if you have feedback to us about what you think is most important for the community, would love to hear this and to incorporate your feedback into our future plan as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if we have feedback, we can just email you to the AI.
Exactly. Please do, because again, I think it's very important to be humble when you develop AI, right? And to know that
Yes.
it's only version 1 and there will be version 2. And if we just wait for everything to be perfect, we'll wait forever. The people that do are the one that will
Yeah.
get the feedback. Sometimes the feedback is not perfect, but the option to sit and to wait until everything is perfect will be in a position that as a society, we are just sitting and waiting. And I think we need to
Yeah.
move. That's my 2 cents about that logic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Buayu, Buayu, there is one raised hand there. Pak Yuyun from BRIN,
Okay.
from the science data.
It's okay, Ophir,
Yeah.
to us to add a little bit time.
Yeah. Another 5 minutes, maybe.
I have more
Okay.
time. I can stay for another hour. I'm really passionate about
Wow.
AI. So
Okay, appreciate it. That's
just
great. That's great.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But by the way, I see a question about 4,000 books that was being
Oh
asked.
yeah.
Let me just address this.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion. we didn't scan 4,000 books. It was probably a misunderstanding about the way that we presented it. We tried to present the equivalent of 4,000 books. It's not that we scanned 4,000 books and then the question about the ownership is important. What we try to simplify to people which are not very technical is to say the amount of data that we collected is equivalent to 4,000 books. I hope it's clear right now. Okay? So
Yeah.
sorry for the
Okay.
confusion. Sorry for the confusion.
Yes. Thank you
Okay.
for the clarification.
Yeah, please, Pak Yuyun.
So you're on mute, doctor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ophir. Is correct I call your name? Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, Prof. Haman, terima kasih ya, Ibu Ayu, terima kasih. So, thank you for your providing a free model that we can be accessed, right? So, we are building a data set for regional language with limited resource. Okay. We are focused in Sulawesi Island, and another in uh, S Island, like Papua, like Maluku, like Ternate, and others. Currently, we are collecting parallel corpus of regional language, corpus from Sulawesi Island, and several language from eastern part of Indonesia. So we did fine tuning our data set corpus parallel. We are get from Opus data. In Opus data, there are a parallel from Indonesian and English. So we use that data and then we translate to local language. For example, they are provided from Opus. They are provide a data set and then we translate in Mandar language, for example. So then we are fine tuning using Gemma Sahabat AI version 1 instruction. Okay. Yep. So we did fine tuning using GPU 800 with one GPU.
Okay.
Okay. But the model was heavy. So we try using LoRa for fine tuning again. And the result was successful. So our idea after we fine tuning, then we generate a data set from the model. For example, please help me to generate a 10 example about the hotel. So the model generates about the hotel and then translate in Mandar language. So when we reply after that, we get the result of the model and then we repair again the model, like we use human reinforcement learning. We have a lot of annotator for the model, and then we repair again the data, and then we fine tuning. But in this step, we did not use. So based on my explanation, what is your suggestion related to the case we are working on? And the second is in the Hugging Face. So I saw two go-to model. One of Gamma 2, and the second is Llama 3 8 billion.
Right.
So which is the model you will suggest about our training data? Thank you.
It's a great question. So first of all, I think you are absolutely correct that LoRa is a very good library from Hugging Face to do the low ranking metrics, and you can fine tune much faster without the need for big GPU. So I fully agree with you. That's the best way to do. If you have limited GPUs, and it's very easy because you just need to send a configuration to the Hugging Face library, the LoRa parameters, and then it's compressed, basically decouple the two matrices. And instead of having 1000 by 1000, you have 1000 by 5, for example, and 5 by 1000, which is much smaller number of parameters. So absolutely agree with you. If you have a problem with GPU power, do LoRa. LoRa is awesome. We are using it as well inside GoTo LoRa. So fully agree with you. The second part about which one is better, I will tell you something, my personal view about benchmarks. Benchmarks are good indications. Benchmark give you the feeling. When I'm looking into benchmark, I see that both Sahabat 8 and Sahabat 9 understands Indonesian, Bahasa Indonesia better than Lama and Gemma. I can see the benchmark results. But for specific use cases, it's better to test both of them. Because it can be that for your use case, the 8 billion is better than the 9 billion. And it may be that for Professor Ayu use case, 9 billion is better than 8 billion. This is the reason that instead of me choosing which one is better, I'm giving you two options. And I'm telling you, I'm suggesting to you, you can test which one works better for you on your specific use case. And then my recommendation is to stick to this one, and then you can benefit from this model. I don't think there's today a scientific way that you can look at a data set and to say without running the model, which model is better for which scenario. Yeah. Does it make sense?
Okay. So
Yeah.
if the model work well, we will use the model as the base model to build to generate data set. So because
correct
in our I am from Brin in our daily we are research about local language. So if the model can work well, uh, we will use as the base model to generate the translate to build more than a data set. Thank you for your explanation, Mr. Rolf.
And thank you for your time. Thank you for asking the question. It's a very interesting question. Thank you for the use case. Yeah.
Okay. So if I have any question, can I contact you by email or?
Of course. This is why I shared the email address of the. Maybe let me post the same things on the group as well, because it's on the slide. So let me post here the email address that I shared on the slide. Sorry, and feel free to drop me the email, and I don't know how to do it with everyone. Joe, is it okay if I will post it here and you will find a way to post it to the entire group? Okay, we'll try to post it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. for your explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions that you want to ask either me, Professor Ayu, Professor Hamam, or Andreas?
I wonder about your data for fine-tuning. Do you use human annotated data or a synthetic data?
Great question. So far we are relying on a combination of those, right? But one of the interesting things that we have seen in DeepSeek, in the published paper, is that they are relying on synthetic data as well, which is coming from the teacher model on the distillation process. So we are now planning to experiment with a higher ratio even of synthetic data. And as I answered before, it's very hard to know which one will work better, but we are planning to experiment both options and to see the one that give us better result and to choose this one.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, because
Yeah.
if you use like ChatGPT to create the data set, and then they will
You're
say,
not allowed. You're not allowed. That's
yeah,
a problem because
that's
according to the policy
yeah,
of OpenAI and the other big models,
yeah,
it's against the term and condition, the TNC
yeah. There is
of
the
the
in the
model.
information,
There's a TNC,
right?
exactly, which they are
MLS.
saying you're not allowed to do it. That's exactly the point. So
Yeah,
this is why again, when I'm saying generating it, if you, for example, if we decide to use another big model, whether it's DeepSeek or Gemma or Llama to generate the synthetic data, then it's okay because it's an open source model. Yeah. Make sense?
yeah. It feels like the automatic speech recognition Whisper versus fact to fact, and then Whisper has higher score, but all of the data used by Whisper is actually generated. So like the quantity, uh, I don't know, quantity and quality is something that we need to discuss.
Agree,
Thank.
agree, agree.
So I think I can over to Andreas for the closing. Thank you very much, Ophir, and also all the team, to Hendra, to Daniel, to Icha. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much for hosting us here. I'm really enjoyed this conversation and the discussion and looking forward for more events like this in the future.
Yes, Ofer, certainly Project Bina will be one of your, partners to develop even more for the Sahabat AI. Okay, Ofer?
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been pleasant for everyone. It's been more than 1 hour. Apologies for everyone who would like to ask. Hoping for another session in the future. Much thanks, much respect. Great presentation with Ophir and also the go-to-group teams. Thank you on behalf of moderating as well, Bu Ayu Purarianti, and also Pak Ashil for the opening remarks, and also last but not least, our President of Korika, Prof. Hamam Riza. Thank you so much for attending this session while you're on the busy session in the AI Summit. So to commemorate this session, we would like to have a photo session together with everyone if that's possible. So if everyone is open to have the camera, we'd like to have one great photo together with everyone.
Wow, awesome. Awesome.
All right. So I'll do in a count of three. So I'll take picture twice. So I'll count by 1 to 3 and I'll take it twice for everyone. All right. 1, 2, 3. Great job. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much for everyone. Please do let us know any emails. We are quite open. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you,
Thank you
Hey,
everyone.
all.
thank you, Andreas, everyone. Puayo, thank
Thank you,
you.
Pak.
Thank
Ofer,
you very much.
okay.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you
Okay,
soon.
bye.
Bye.
In Indonesia, we understand the importance of preserving value-based artificial intelligence, or AI, and democratizing AI for all, ensuring inclusivity in its development. The Indonesian National AI Strategy has identified 4 focus areas and 5 priority areas, including ethics and policy, talent development, data and infrastructure, research, and industrial innovation. Our commitment to democratizing AI for all ensures inclusivity in this journey. In executing this strategy, there's a need for an agile and non-bureaucratic orchestrator based on value or market. By democratizing AI access and opportunity, Korika ensures that the benefits of AI development are accessible to all. Korika was formed through the collective efforts of the pentahelix component, which are government, industry, the academia, the community, and the media. With a spirit of synergy and collaboration and a focus on democratizing AI for all, we are are committed to realizing Indonesia's national AI strategy towards Indonesia 2045. Korika's vision is to be a nimble and trusted organization in creating a collaborative ecosystem for the acceleration Indonesia's national AI strategy towards Indonesia's 2045, while democratizing AI opportunities for all. Korika's mission is to execute the orchestration of the N-Helix AI ecosystem through a value-based business model based on Indonesia's national AI strategy and ensuring the democratization of AI benefits. Korika operates based on 7 main principles. These are inclusive collaboration, professionalism, transparency, adaptability, independence, healthy competition, and Indonesia's excellence based on value creation, while democratizing AI for all. Korika has several key programs to achieve its mission, all aimed at democratizing AI opportunity and benefit for everyone. AI Talent aims to accelerate talent growth in the field of artificial intelligence, making sure that AI skills are accessible to all. AI Maker Lab provides access to training data and computing power to accelerate exploration and prototyping, democratizing AI development processes. AI Innovations accelerates innovation commercialization through ecosystem support, ensuring diverse innovators can participate. Korika also plays a role in advocacy and ethical moderation in AI development, ensuring that AI technologies serve the common good. Community activities aim to strengthen collaboration and a shared spirit, fostering inclusivity in the AI community. AI Innovation Summit serves as a platform to share knowledge and innovations in artificial intelligence, encouraging participation from diverse voices. Let us together contribute and collaborate to build Indonesia's excellence in research and industrial innovation in artificial intelligence. From us, for us by Korika, while democratizing AI opportunities for all.